Alright, what is up, you beautiful people, and welcome back to another Direct Strike Commander Guide. This one's been very long in the making. I promised you guys that I was going to get it out like last month or something like that. But production hit a few wrenches, such as I needed to do some more research on Alarak because I didn't want to create like a partially baked guide that does not work. That is no bueno. So let's get into it, boys. Game plan, we're going to talk about Alarak, the Alarak mindset. We're going to look at the units, the strategy, and the game play. I do some weekly Brawl tier lists for Direct Strike Weekly Brawl. So if you guys are looking to, enjoy some of that content, be sure to drop a sub. I'm also doing some a Wings of Liberty campaign playthrough. I think I'm going to play through the entire Starcraft 2 campaign, and I'm going to look to do some reversed campaigns as well, because I think that's been requested. So be on the lookout for that. If you guys don't want to miss that kind of stuff, go and drop a sub, come and check out my channel, and let's get right into it. So the Alarak mindset, I think, is actually very suitable for Alarak. The core idea is it's not if you're going to win, it's when you're going to win. So Alarak is very powerful in the sense that his backline units are so strong. They either do gigantic amounts of damage. They are able to dish out, they'll destroy armored units, and a lot of commanders have lots of armored units. And yeah, he has I think the biggest capital unit that you can build in large numbers, known as the mothership as well. So if the game does drag on long enough where you can profit from buying a lot of those, although they're not actually the best choice, you can go for it too. And Alarak himself is very hard to kill if you just keep feeding him supplicants. He's just never going to die, and whenever he kills something, he's gonna gain health back. So the key is just to balance how much damage you're dealing and how much damage you're taking. If you're soaking too much and you're not able to finish off the wave, you need more damage. If you are just smashing through with your backline, but Alarak's just getting popped before your backline can clean it up, you need more soak. It kind of actually reminds me of Legion Tower Defense too. I think it's very similar to Squadron Tower Defense, right? I don't remember. I've never actually played Squadron Tower Defense, but yeah. I've just been playing Legion Tower Defense recently, so that's why I'm bringing this up. So let's look at Alarak's followers. So tier 1, Alarak's tier 1 is actually, I would say, probably one of the strongest, because it gives him access to literally everything you need to win the game, actually, I would say, right from the get-go. You start with Alarak, who is your hero unit. He's a very powerful tank, single target DPS, and essentially your entire front line. Essentially. His ability that you have right away have access to is Deadly Charge, 12-second cooldown. He just sort of dashes forward, does 200 damage to a target ground unit. If he eats a supplicant, or as I'm going to say in this video a lot, a chicken nugget, he's going to have a lightning AoE attack, I think, that hits up to 4 targets and does 50 damage. So pretty good. You can also research Imposing Presence, basically right after you buy Alarak, and it makes it so that whenever he attacks a unit, he stuns it for 1.4 seconds, and heroic units just lose attack speed. So nevertheless, very good ability. You almost always want to open up with an Alarak as your first unit, because he's just super strong. Now, next we obviously have the Supplicant, 110 minerals. Essentially the unit you buy if you want Alarak to stay alive a little longer. Basically, whenever Alarak runs low on health, he's going to search in his nearby radius for supplicants, and if he finds one, he's going to sacrifice one of them, and he's going to heal for a percentage of his health. I actually don't know the math of exactly how much he heals, but if he's about to die, he heals up to around 70% max HP in shields. I think that's how it is. It's around that. And so if he takes 1,000 damage, he's just going to eat enough supplicants to basically heal that amount of damage. And obviously if you don't have enough supplicants, then he'll die, right? Now with supplicants, you got blood shields, which gives you +2 armor on your shields, and you got soul augmentation, which is an upgrade I think I would buy first, because I think the more health and or shields your supplicants have, the more Alarak heals from them. I'm not quite sure how the math ratios out here, but that is the general rule you just got to remember. And also, you can technically buy supplicants just to act as a front line to just take hits, because they are really tanky. I think they end up having 225 health if you buy the soul augmentation on them, just net health. So they're not a bad unit just to, I guess, soak damage on their own. But ideally, you want Alarak to be the one who's drawing aggro. And then, because supplicants themselves, well, they'll die to splash, right? And Alarak is essentially an infinite pool of HP, provided he does not like run out of nuggets. You just gotta think about it like that. So, I would recommend that Alarak does the tanking. Next is your Slayer. The Slayer is just an anti-armor stalker, very powerful, very affordable, but still quite expensive. And I would say you probably want a lot of these guys as well in your composition, because they're a jack of all trades unit. They have a phasing armor, which grants some temporary invulnerability. You should always buy this as soon as you can, because it basically resets aggro, allows them to blink back. When they blink back, their blink does double damage to whatever they hit, and if it's an armor unit, even better. So I think you essentially will just want to add like a good amount of Slayers. I think the best opener would be like Alarak, 2 Slayers, 2 Nuggets, and then you just move from there. It's a decent opener. Don't like stick like hard to it, but it's a great place to like start thinking. If you notice that Alarak's dying a little too fast, you do also want to probably add like 1 or 2 Slayers alongside, because the Slayers will act as like a second line, a second front line essentially once Alarak goes down. And it's really important to have a second front line, just to, you know, soak a little bit more. And Alarak has an ability called Structure Overcharge, which basically just grants a 400 HP shield, which does not like add to this structure shield. It just an extra 400 HP, which doesn't have a marker of how much that HP is. It's just there. So like there's no visual indicator saying like here's plus 400 extra shields or anything. It's just you just don't see the structure take damage until it's been depleted. So you can put this on a warp prism, which I guess could be helpful, or you can put this on a structure. And I just noticed I have it as X minutes, but I think you get a charge, I believe, every 3 or 4 minutes. And it attacks for 40 damage every half a second. So it's got 80 DPS. So it's not too shabby, and it lasts for 10 seconds. Notice, though, it does not actually restore shields. It just prevents your structure from taking up to 400 damage. Now, Havoc is probably one of the coolest detectors in the game. Probably, I would say, one of the best detectors in the game, because it does so much. And you'll notice that it's very expensive. It's 140 minerals, so it's more than a Slayer. I usually only go and buy like a single Havoc, and I try to stretch it out for as long as possible. But the recommendation, I think, is you should have at least 3 Havocs for your army. You could have, I don't think there's any point in having more than 3, but that's just my personal playstyle, because I want to just basically dump as much money as I can into attacking units. Havocs increase your ally like units' attack range, so yours and your teammates if the Havoc survives, and usually it does. It increases attack range by 2, so it's actually very potent when it comes to sieging down your opponent's structures and just giving your side the advantage when it comes to pushing. So if you have 3 Havocs, that usually covers the entire map once you get the tier 3 upgrade, Bloodshard Resonance. Bloodshard Resonance basically makes the Havoc's little buff radius, which when it starts out, it's basically like the units that are, it's like essentially right next to it. You can probably sandwich it between us like 2 Slayers, and that's about as big as the range is. But once you get Bloodshard Resonance, you can essentially put like 3 Slayers on each side, and it'll still be within range of the Havoc. So if you have 3 of them and you spread them out across your staging area, it should essentially buff your entire front line. You could probably go for 5 if the game goes on for long enough, but I don't want to put too many resources into something that doesn't. It's strong buff, doesn't attack though. I don't know. I just try to skimp out on it basically as much as I can, and try to put out as many attacking units. But the tech weakness is very powerful. It basically makes your opponent's units take 15% more damage, and that's available like right from the get-go. But you can research Detect Weakness, which turns that 15% into a 30% bonus damage taken, and it's very useful research, especially if you're against someone like Tychus or like someone who has a hero. Anyone who has a hero, you gotta get Detect Weakness. Cloaking Module is available tier 2, and I think it's very useful because it just makes it invisible. And by the way, I think Alarak is probably one of the only commanders who has detection available at tier 1. Havoc is your detector, and you can buy it at tier 1. So that's actually pretty nuts, which is why I'm saying like Alarak technically has everything he needs to win in tier 1. You can just spam Slayers, Nuggets, Havocs, and you could go really far with that. It's actually really surprising, but you do need tier 2, because tier 2 is where Alarak has all of his AoE, And you know, Raynor Bio, Stukov Bio, Zagara, Abathur, whatever, you name those guys, they're going to be piling in large amounts of units at you. So Alarak needs his tier 2. It gives you Destruction Wave and also Soul Absorption. So Destruction Wave does 50 damage in an AoE area, pushes units back. This is very useful against, say, large amounts of Zerglings and like Stukov infested. I believe every Marine in the game, besides the infested Marine, can survive this. So not the greatest, but it has its uses later on when Alarak hits tier 3. Soul Absorption is very good because it heals Alarak essentially for 40 health whenever something dies near him. I believe it also counts like allied units as well. I don't know, I haven't tested that, but I know enemies for sure count. So if you're against anyone who's swarming you extra hard, this will give Alarak just a little bit more juice to stay in the fight, and it's been able to like basically keep Alarak from dying many times before, like in the fights that I've like, you know, played Alarak or versus Alarak. So very powerful. It's usually like the difference between winning a push or losing a push. So Vanguard is your go-to ground AoE choice, I would say. Anti-armor, I wouldn't really say DPS. I guess it's DPS, but like it doesn't do it fast. But it's an AoE anti-armor damage unit. It's not really an immortal, it's fragile, so please keep it safe behind your slayers. However, due to the fact that it does not blink backwards, it will eventually die. So not ideal for stacking. It's got like 6 attack range. If it's being buffed by Havoc, that'll send it up to 8. But at the end of the day, that's still not a very high amount. Now, it's a very good buy against swarms, especially swarms of like, say, Marauders or Roaches, or even Hydralisk, I think, is not too bad, because you do need something to answer those things. So if you're against armored units, you should buy Fusion Mortars, which increases the damage dealt by, not actually 100%, I think it increases by 7, like a flat amount, like 7 extra bonus damage. But like it does 8 damage at base. One thing though is that it sounds like it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it hits like 8 times. So actually, the Vanguard does 64 damage. Now, plus 7 damage means that I think it does 15 damage or 16 damage. I could have sworn it does 16. I think it only does 15 against armor units. But that's like an extra 56 damage on top of the 64. So that actually adds up to, is that 120? 120 damage. I believe 56, 64. Yeah, it's 120 damage. So that's basically gonna clap like most things that are armored on the ground. Maybe not one-shot them, but like you get 2 Vanguards and their little Fusion Mortar AoE overlaps. Boom, dead. Matter Dispersion will make sure that overlap is more likely. So yeah, you also want to place them a little bit further back in case Alarak uses his knockback wave and then your attack just hits nothing. So do beware of your positioning for Vanguards as well. Now, Destroyers is your second AoE option, but it's like just almost never good. Think of Destroyers as like worse Mutalisk. So against some commanders, I hesitate to say, like, I think like against Artanis, if they forget that they have Archons, Destroyers will clap Dragoons. And it'll do that to like I think it's quite effective against Swan Goliaths, question mark, if they don't draw aggro, that is. So there's very few places where Destroyers are actually good. I'm like racking my brains right now off the top of my head of like some commander you can just build Destroyers into, and currently the only person I can think of is probably like Phoenix. And that's not very promising because Phoenix's air presence is not the best either. So you can tell Destroyers are not really the greatest. You could probably build them into Vorzun. They'll do okay. Like if it's a Void Ray fight, I think you can overpower her Void Rays. Up to a certain point, I think, because eventually Vorzun will win by building something that's not a Void Ray. For example, a Corsair. So yeah. I have it as X enemies. Hold on, boys. All right, we got all fixed up. It bounces up to 3 enemies. And the bounce deals like 2.5 damage, so that's really bad. a Mutalisk Bounce, I think, does like... I don't actually know what the reduced damage is, but like with Kerrigan, you can make it deal full damage, and Abathur just does bonus damage to armored. So yeah, this is terrible. I don't know. Pick destroyers at your own at your own pace, I guess. It's almost never a good unit to go right off the bat with. So yeah. We have War Prisms, which are essentially just a flying meat shield. It doesn't actually do anything. Like, it attacks like for like 12 damage every 1.5 seconds. So there's literally no reason why you want to buy this unit over anything else. You could use it to carry Structure Overcharge on the battlefield, but from my experience, War Prism just gets deleted before it gets to use the full duration of Structure Overcharge. And when you do use Structure Overcharge on it, it doesn't move. So if your battle line moves forward, then like congratulations, you've wasted Structure Overcharge. So the only times you ever build War Prisms is like if you have a bunch of Wrathwalkers and you're trying to protect them from something that flies. That's the only really the only time you build War Prism, basically. Next, we have our other AoE option, which is also kind of a meme pick too. So Alarak really only has one good, like, steady ground unit that is AoE, and that's the Vanguard. So the Ascendant has very high potential against swarms because it has the I forgot the name of the orb actually. Psionic Orb, I believe. It's basically a Gary Egorb, but not as strong. But you can feed the Ascendant supplicants on your staging area. So when you give it a supplicant, I think it'd probably be better to talk about it on the next page. So actually, let me just talk about Mind Blast for now. So Sacrifice here allows you to consume a supplicant on the battlefield. You can also use it in your staging area. Mind Blast makes it do 200 damage to any target. I would highly suggest that if you decide to buy Mind Blast, you micro the Ascendant, because I think the Ascendant will just Mind Blast whatever has enough health to like take a Mind Blast. It's good against like heroes if you really gotta delete them, but like if you're against Tychus, it's probably a better option to buy someone that's not an Ascendant. If you're against Phoenix, it's probably also better to buy someone that's not Ascendant. If you're against Hyperion, it's also probably better to buy something that's not an Ascendant. So Mind Blasts are just for fun. All right, yeah. So moving on to Sonic Orb. Actually, no, we're not. Sorry, we're not quite yet done. We got Mind Blast here. It costs 100 energy, and Ascendants have 200 energy. So you're gonna be able to get 2 of these off, but they have a 5-second cooldown, so you'll get the first one off, and then hopefully survives long enough to get the second one off. If your Ascendant is big enough or well-fed enough, that shouldn't be a problem, because every time you sacrifice a chicken nugget to the Ascendant, it gains 100 extra shields permanently. But it doesn't gain any bonus attack damage, so it just becomes this sort of like giant punching bag. So it's like not the best at the end of the day. So Sonic Orb deals 14 damage to nearby enemies and moves like really slowly, and it's really wide. So think of it as like a Psystorm, but it moves forward. Now with Power Overwhelming, which is the research upgrade that lets you consume chicken nuggets in the staging area, it increases your damage by 25% for your abilities. So basically, your Mind Blast gets 50 damage each time you eat something, and I believe your Sonic Orb gets like 2.5, 3.5 damage every time you eat something. So Sonic Orb is going to take a long time to be powerful. To be even as close as powerful as Gary's Egorb, because Gary's Egorb does 70 damage. So that means this thing needs to gain 56 damage, and if you're just gaining 2.5 damage each time, not 3.5 damage each time, or like, yeah, it's gonna take you a while to get there. So with supplicants, I mean with Ascendants, you could just have one and just constantly be growing it over time. It is possible though to use it against swarms. But yeah, if you do decide to use it, make sure you micro. I would say micro the Sonic Orb if you can. And get Chaotic Attunement, because that makes the Sonic Orb travel, I believe, 25% further. Or is it 50% further? It's like, it's a good amount further. So yeah. Tier 3 gives Alarak access to his ultimate units and his ultimate abilities. Now, Tier 3, researching Tier 3 alone is going to give you Empower Me, which has a 6-minute cooldown, but it makes it so that Alarak just becomes jacked out of his mind. His auto attacks deal AoE damage and will stun if you have the stun upgrade, which you should have. He gains attack damage based on the nearby units that are his. And if you have a mechanical unit, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Slayers are mechanical, they give you double the attack damage. So Alarak can get up to like 100 something attack damage with ease once you get like, past like the 10-15 minute mark. And that will also make his deadly charge do more damage and his destruction wave do more damage. In these situations, it would be helpful to micro the destruction wave if you would like to, just like blow up a bunch of units. But your first empowerment is not going to be too strong, but your second and third one is going to get real powerful. It lasts for 14 seconds, so it's more than enough to destroy your entire wave. Make sure Alarak has enough nuggets to keep him alive, because he's going to go in and dive in there. And if he gets one shot while your empowerment is active, well, you're going to be really sad. So that's that. But it is very powerful. It is a swing move. It is basically like a Karax laser beam. So make sure you use it wisely. Next, we have the Wrathwalker. This is probably your best all-around backline DPS unit in the game. Just everything. I think it beats out Nova siege tanks, I would say, because it doesn't have to siege up, and it just does flat, I believe, 110 damage, like unupgraded. Just flat 110 damage to everything, and it shoots at a very decent pace. I think this is a must-buy unit, but it's not a rush to it and buy it. It's like slowly transition into a large amount of them if you can, because they're very potent in large amounts. So we got aerial tracking, so Wrathwalkers can attack air units. Sometimes you want to buy this, sometimes you don't want to buy this. Sometimes you want to buy it because Wrathwalkers are your only answer to something that flies that's big. Like Banshees, I think you'll need Wrathwalkers to answer. Motherships, definitely need Wrathwalkers to answer. Carriers, you could answer them with Wrathwalkers as well. So yeah, in that case, you should get aerial tracking. In some cases, it's a good idea not to get it so that the Wrathwalkers will actually bypass aggro until there's nothing else to shoot at in the air. So potentially very good. But if there's nothing else in the air for you, then just get it, because you're gonna need to protect it from air units. Rapid power cycling is the upgrade you want to buy first, because if you do not have this, Wrathwalkers will literally sit there and take 10 years to auto attack. Once you get this, the Wrathwalkers just go pew pew pew. Like if you don't have it, it's gonna be like meow 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 pew or something like that. I don't know. So it's kind of embarrassing if you don't have it. Your first one is going to be like a little glitched and bugged, but yeah, always buy this one. It's what makes Wrathwalkers good. And finally, we have the ultimate Protoss vessel, the Tal'darim mothership. You can buy as many of these as you want as long as you have the money. They are very powerful. They will literally clap every single capital ship out there, I think. Maybe with the exception of Sovereign BCs, but like even they don't really keep up, I would say. Basically, if you're in a capital ship battle, you can probably just buy motherships and win it all. They have 2,000 health, and their full attack cycle volley does 300 damage. That being said, they're not very good against large amounts of small air units. So yeah, if you're against those, I think with the exception of Mutalisk, you might be able to beat Mutalisk if you survive long enough to get like 6 motherships or 7 motherships. But that's reserved only for weekly Brawl games. Like your normal commander games, you're better off getting Ascendants into Mutalisk. But yeah, so Thermal Lance just does 20 damage in a line. It's like little baby AoE, better than 0 AoE. So yeah, motherships, I think you'll probably not be able to buy them in your regular commander games, because those games don't last as long. And if you're going to sit on 1,300 minerals, you either are going to win or you're going to lose by the time you get it out. So yeah, this is definitely something you'll see though in weekly Brawls, because weekly Brawls lend themselves to more relaxed and greedier gameplay. So yeah, so here's the domination guide, boys. So once we're gonna go over a little bit of some chicken nugget placement. Please do not have your chicken nuggets in front and Alarak behind them, because what's gonna happen is they're gonna run into these juicy siege tanks. They're gonna die. Alarak's gonna show up, and then he's gonna die, and then you're gonna be really sad. What you want to do is have Alarak in front and have some chicken nuggets behind him, so that when Alarak goes in, because he's gonna dash forward with his deadly charge, he's gonna take aggro, and then he's gonna take some damage, and he's going to consume a chicken nugget, and he's going to keep doing that until either the enemy front line dies or he dies. Now, you also don't want chicken nuggets to be too far away from him, because then he'll go in, and then he'll die, and then the chicken nuggets show up, and then you're like, you're really sad. Now, you also do not want to clump up all your chicken nuggets, like in a big, like, horizontal line across your staging area or something like that, because what's going to happen is Alarac's going to charge in, he's going to eat some of them, but the rest of them are still going to be nice and healthy, because Alarak doesn't, like, you know, he's not getting focused down that hard. And so these guys are going to come in here with their 3 attack range, and they're going to throw their little baby blood orbs that do like 2 damage, basically. And they're going to draw aggro, and then they're going to die. And then Alarak's going to be like, all right, I need to draw my chicken nuggets. And then he's like, they're all dead. And then he dies. And then you're really sad. So what you want to do instead is you want to, like, sort of create this vertical line, basically, that goes from the front of your staging area to the back of the staging area. And then they basically just trickle in. And ideally, in that trickle, Alarak is going to take enough damage. He's going to eat one. He's going to take enough damage and eat the next one, and the next one, and the next one. By the end in the late game, if it gets to the stage of like a 40-minute game, this is obviously not going to be sustainable, because you will have chicken nuggets that will start spilling over. And that's sort of when your front line kind of falls apart. But most games never really make it to that point, so it's all right. It's not going to make it to that point if you're building Alarak correctly. So when are you going to buy Ascendants? There are some commanders where you just will have to just start buying Ascendants right off the bat. And I would say that Kerrigan and Abathur are 2 of those commanders that you just have to buy an Ascendant right off the bat. As insurance policy, I would say, more so than anything else. Because Ascendants take a long time to actually, like, start getting up and running and start to be powerful. But against Abathur and Kerrigan, if they decide to go Mutalisk against you, Mutos will absolutely wreck you. Like, your Slayers do not stand a chance against them. Alarak and his chicken nuggets do not stand a chance, because the nuggets will gather around Alarak, and then they're going to get bounced on by the Mutalisk, and then you're going to be really sad. So the only answer to Mutalisk is just Ascendants. You'll probably need 3 of them, around 3 of them, and they'll all have to need some amount of nuggets in them before you'll start coming out ahead. And once you start coming out ahead, you're going to have to transition into probably more Slayers, and I would say I think Vanguards against Abathur and Wrathwalkers against Kerrigan. Because Kerrigan will probably swap to Ultralisk to try and just barrel through your Ascendants. And then so Wrathwalkers will be able to pummel them to pieces. Vanguards are not too great against Ultras, because Ultras have such high armor count. Somebody just subscribed. Hello. I don't know if you guys heard that sound, but anyways. And Abathur is going to probably swap to, like... Actually, there's no real good answer for Abathur, because Abathur's Vipers will really wreck you, making everything on the ground, like, just run forward. And also, he'll be able to snatch your Ascendants. So Abathur is actually a bit of a hard matchup. I think, if anything, long run, you'll probably go for some motherships. Against Zagara, the Ascendants are really good in the sense that if you also have around 3 of them, they will start doing large amounts of damage to the Hunter Killers and making things really easy to vaporize. They will also vaporize any Banelings that run in once they start doing more than 35 damage per tick of their orb. And that is very good, to say the least. Just think of the Ascendants like Deimos Vikings, but like clunkier and only able to shoot out 1 big attack. But that 1 big attack is going to be very tough for Zagara to deal with. And Raynor Bio can be beaten with Ascendants, although more reliably you'll probably want to go with Vanguards, because Raynor can answer Ascendants with spreading out a little bit and getting medics. Yes, and also Raynor can transition to Battle Cruisers as well if it doesn't work out for him. Battle Cruisers simply have too much health for your Ascendants to get through. So yeah, I learned that the hard way through one of these games where I was just like, all right, I'm just going to do it for science. I'm just going to keep sending out Ascendants and keep feeding them. And I think I got some Ascendants to like almost 2,000 shields, but alas, Battle Cruisers simply have too much health for you. So yeah, you can choose Ascendants as an option, but I think Vanguards and Wrathwalkers would probably be your more reliable choice against Raynor. Now, next, when are you going to buy Motherships? Well, Motherships, if you upgrade their armor to max, they got 5 armor and they got 2,000 health, so basically anything that does like baby amounts of damage is gonna be like terrible into motherships. So I'm looking at carriers basically. Whoever has carriers, just buy motherships into them. Stepman Hydras are really easy to clean up as well, and they struggle a little bit into motherships because like you need a lot of Hydras to take them down at a fast pace. And Hydras also suffer from the Goliath problem, also known as I don't know what to target. They're actually also really good against Nova, I think, as well. I think I'm going to mention that in a little bit. Vorozun's only real answer to these motherships are going to be Void Rays. Void Rays are decently potent, but I think if you mix it up where you have motherships and your own Void Rays, I think that should be a winning combination. You really don't want to fight Vorozun on the ground because he's just going to disable everything you got. And that's going to make you super sad. Your motherships will tank Corsairs with ease because Corsairs do like baby damage. And hopefully that'll buy you time for your destroyers to cut through and or your Wrathwalkers to cut through. Although I don't think Wrathwalkers would be ideal. Now, you can also buy motherships into like Nova. Strike Goliaths cannot disable motherships because motherships are heroic. So Strike Goliaths are just going to be super sad. They're going to be like, please help me. Motherships are also, they're an okay, maybe doable choice into Manx. If Manx buys Mutalist, then like your motherships are toast. But if you if you're feeling adventurous, you can buy some motherships and they can 1v2 Sky Furies. But if there's 3 Sky Furies, then that's too many. I would suggest with Manx though, just slam Wrathwalkers and use War Prisms to shield. That is much more economical and much higher DPS. And if you're against an enemy Alarak, you could also buy a mothership just to tank because those mirror matches. But you don't want to have too many because it's better to have a mothership's worth of minerals of Wrathwalkers than it is to have a mothership. Because I believe like with 1,300 minerals, you can buy like 2.5 Wrathwalkers. So that is ultimately going to do more damage than one mothership, I would say, especially in the long run, because motherships have to move in close. Wrathwalkers just sort of sit in the back and they're like, pew. So yeah, I want to say Tychus is actually one of your favorite opponents, in the sense that Tychus really struggles into Alarak. If Tychus goes for tier 3 Blaze, Vanguards will slice right through him. And against Tychus, you really just want to be slamming down Wrathwalkers. Now, I think there is actually a secret OP counter to Wrathwalkers, which is going to be Boswell with the extra health. Like with the extra life, because Boswell with the extra life, I think if he hooks in and he starts just like increasing and vamping up his attack speed, just going boom, 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 it is actually potentially very lethal. And you can also disable a large clump of your Wrathwalkers. But that being said, like Wrathwalkers can still cut through Boswell pretty quickly. Like you need like 1,200 minerals worth of Boswell versus 1,200 minerals worth of Wrathwalkers. You can probably spread them out a little bit. It's gonna be a little harder. But yeah, it's really tough for Tychus to win this matchup if you know what you're doing. Make sure you have a good balance of a little bit of tankiness in the front, a little bit of tankiness, but try not to go overboard. It's about how fast you kill Tychus, not how much you can tank Tychus. So yeah. Now, I actually want to say there's one respected enemy, and that's Han and Horner. I think every time I've faced Han and Horner as Alarak, it's always been super tough because Han and Horner's ground units actually beat up everything you have on the ground really effectively. And Deimos Vikings, not only are they cheaper than Wrathwalkers, they will clap your Wrathwalkers easily. And I'm pretty sure if you have a composition of like as Han and Horner, you just go like Reapers into Deimos Vikings. Oh, that is nearly unbeatable because the Reapers will soak the Wrathwalker shots, and then the Deimos Vikings will take out the Wrathwalkers, and then your most potent units are just toast. Slayers are just gonna get like run over by Hellbats and grenade cars, I would say. Like Alarak can probably hold them off for a little bit, but you'll run out of chicken nuggets. So I actually want to say Han and Horner is probably one of the best commanders to go into Alarak. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know too. And finally, the ideal late game composition I think I want you guys to be thinking about is that you want to have a large amount of supplicants, like large as in like just like gauge it based on how fast your Alarak's dying. But you're probably gonna have more supplicants than you have any other unit, and you're gonna probably have around. You would ideally want to have around as many Slayers as well. You really want to solidify your position before you start transitioning into your very pricey late game units, such as your Vanguards or your Wrathwalkers. Because if you go for the transition too early, you might just lose the game before you can stabilize. Like if you can survive the 10 minutes as Alarak, the rest of the game is in your hands essentially. Like it's hard to lose after that point, I would say. So that's basically it. Let's go to some gameplay. All right, and we are back and out of the guide. All right, boys, let's get to it. We're gonna try and showcase some of the strategies we're talking about here. So one of the things that's very important to do with Alarak, I think, is really just establish a strong foothold with a large amount of Slayers. I find that one of the hardest things to do with Alarak is just making that transition from just the early game into grabbing Wrathwalkers or sufficient Vanguards that you just completely overrun your opponent's position. So I think I'm just gonna open with Alarak to hopefully just grab middle income, and then we'll get like the Imposing Presence, and then like we'll just hang out with that for now. So usually if it's like a one sort of opponent, Imposing Presence should be good. If you're against anyone with large amounts of buyout, you're gonna need lots and lots of units here. Ooh. Well, looks like we can use some chicken nuggets then. We're gonna have to use some chicken nuggets, boys. So against the Gara, her abs are gonna be very lethal. But Vanguards will only buy you so much time before they get overrun. I think you need... The problem is you have to find a good balance. I think you're going to need like 2 or 3 Ascendants here. 2 or 3. But the problem is also just making sure you have enough units on the field. So I'm going to open with a nice little Classico. Get some chicken nuggets here. So just 2 Slayers and 2 chicken nuggets is a decent opener. Very helpful. But yeah, Rainer is going to be really painful to deal with as well. That's a Tychus. I think. If it's a baby turret, it's going to be Tychus, boys. There we go. We got a little... Boom. There we go. I don't think I need to level phasing armor just yet. Oh my god. Okay. You could technically micro Alarak here to get him to charge the queen as well. There we go. Boom. There we go. Oh man. Alright, so I'm gonna go for the Ascendant here. There we go. There we go. And I think that's really important to get a Havoc as well. It's just it's a little pricey here to go for the Havocs here. I'm pretty sure this guy's Tychus. I'm pretty sure this guy in the front position is Tychus. But here we go. We got some Marines coming out here. With the Ascendant, if you only have one of them, it's not a bad idea just to micro them. Because, you know, it's not too bad. Pretty useful here. There we go. I'm going to get Alarak here to charge that queen here. There we go. Ascendant also can double as something that like you can use for Mind Blast. Alright, Ascendant. Just gonna send that Mind Blast out here. I think actually, since we have so much, we have a lot of dominance on the ground. I think I might just go for the Assimilators. I might just go for it. It's kind of greedy. It's kind of greedy, but sometimes the greed pays off, you know. So I'm gonna charge up here. I think Zagar is going tier 3 as well. Yeah, there we go. That's the Tychus there. That's the Tychus. Okay. Rainer scans are gonna be pretty devastating here. I'm gonna make sure Alarak's wave here is bigger. Get the cloaking module here. I'm gonna send out this little E-Gorb. So Zagar's queens can actually counter my orb here. My orb only does 24 damage, so it's not too strong. Not really the strongest thing in the world, but I think just having a single Ascendant will help contain Banelings or like you know, other similar things here like that. I'm gonna send out a little orb here. It's gonna do a little bit of damage. Zagar is tier 3. And so we're gonna start seeing the fireworks very soon. I think Vanguards would not be a bad idea as well. But let's complete the cycle, boys. I'm gonna eat that chicken nugget here, boys. Yep. Abs incoming. Abs are incoming, boys. As soon as the guard's tier 3, you're gonna see some abs here. Now, I'm also pretty strong against Tychus if it comes down to that. But yeah, let's see. Look at that chaotic attunement here. There we go. Alarak's just gonna soak that real nice. I should just get Mind Blast actually, and I'll just like help us destroy Zagara faster. I don't know. Like sensibly, that's probably the correct thing to do. But I think I'm gonna try and use my Ascendants to send out the little orb. Currently, I think the Ascendants are actually a little bit useless. I'm gonna get that upgrade here. And I think if like Statman's Lings are just gonna be on the ground here, doing their thing. My Slayers are actually doing a lot of work here, so I think I'm just gonna stack up my Slayers. Stack up some more Slayers, boys. Like Slayers are pretty useful, but I think it's time to. Oh my God, that is so many blazes. What is Tychus doing? He just went pure blaze, boys. There we go. That's the abs. So the one reason I don't want to get Vanguards is because Vanguards will just get overrun by the abs. Alarak is really good at soaking the ab explosions, though, to a certain point. The Ascendants are sort of just like a security deposit, basically. You know. There we go. We're gonna get that done here. But yeah, the problem with the Ascendants is that they compete for minerals with Alarak. I mean, they compete for minerals. They compete for nuggets with Alarak here. I'm gonna go for a greed gas here. But you can almost exclusively just use Slayers here and just overcome quite a lot of things. Slayers are a really versatile unit. And I think because Alarak is eating so many nuggets, we're going to need to give him some more nuggets to eat here. But yeah, Alarak's very, very powerful front line. I don't know. I think in weekly brawls, you'll definitely get to use Vanguards and Wrathwalkers with impunity, I would say. I build those things with impunity. You can get away with it, but like in regular Commanders 3v3, it's really tough, especially because Wrathwalkers and Vanguards have been nerfed over and over again. Not without reason, I suppose. They are quite powerful. I'm going to send out that orb here. The orb is going to do significant amounts of damage to the Vikings. Enemy Rainer just built pure Vikings, which isn't very strong. I mean, it's not that strong against Slayers. How about that? It's pretty strong against anything that flies. Those things are potent. But yeah, I'm going to just slam down some more of these, and I think I'm going to get another Havoc here. It's kind of a risk to put the Havoc out here in the front, because it doesn't have a lot of health. And something could just breathe on it, and then you'll be in for a bad time. But, you know, if it works out, it's not too bad. It's also because, like, I think my Ascendant Orb does way more damage than a Baneling has health now, right? Yeah, that's 35, so it's not too bad. I'm going to send one out here. And then now it's consumed something else. It's going to do 38. And it's got a lot of health, too, so it acts as like a secondary tank, you know, when it comes down to it. And it's not too bad against Rainer. Although he does have his Vikings spread out quite a lot. But Slayers beat Vikings in a fight quite easily. So it's not really much of a contest here. I'm gonna turn up the volume on my game. Like, you guys probably won't notice a difference because, like, I think the game automatically adjusts for it, or the recording, like OBS automatically adjusts for it. But yeah, I think I might grow another Ascendant now. So it's always risky to grow this many Ascendants, though. That's the only thing, because they'll start chewing through your nuggets. But we are just winning by virtue of Rainer's anti-light composition that is just slaughtering Tychus. And all these mines here. This is a great usage of vultures, by the way. Something I should probably play around with a lot more, too. because I actually don't use vultures too much. Okay, so anyways, let's go here. Vultures are great at just like securing your position. It's like an alternative to tanks almost. It's like tanks but a little different. So here we go. I'm gonna send out 2 orbs here, and that's just gonna devastate those Rainer Vikings. Do I have another orb up? Oh my god. So Rainer's best response to this would be to get medics and battle cruisers. Medics and battle cruisers, I was up against a Rainer opponent who just completely smashed me. It was really embarrassing, but also at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to change my strategy because I just want to see how far I can go with it, you know? Like, can I win with it? I let my team down that game. I have it as a replay somewhere. I don't know if I don't know if you guys want to see it. This is, after all, an Alarak guide, not a Alarak not how to. I guess how not to, I guess, could be helpful. But, ooh, those abs are starting to roll in now. Spicy, spicy. Uh-oh. I'm going to send out one little wave here. There we go. I'm going to send out the second wave. I'm going to get my sold augmentation here. Vikings coming in. I'm going to send out 2 orbs on these Vikings. That's going to decimate this one side. And Alarak is just going to go and chop his way through the other. So yeah, I think definitely just including a healthy number of Slayers in your composition is very important. Slayers they just do everything pretty nicely, so it's important to have them. There we go. Nice job coming out here, and looks like we're just going to clean it up here. So there we go. And it's toasted, boys. RIP those Banelings. Now, I'm pretty sure we didn't actually do too much damage. Alarak's like real high damage dealing boys are going to be these guys. Against Zagara, you kind of can't build Wrathwalkers because you can just build Scourge and you're going to be really sad. Vanguards will get overrun eventually by abs. So I think it's important to have a few Ascendants just to make sure Banelings, if they do start connecting, at least might get vaporized. And Slayers are pretty good because they will soak a Baneling hit and then be like, haha, I'm invincible for 1 second. So yeah, damage dealt here, we actually did pretty good. Tanked a lot. Alarak can take a lot of hits, but you just got to make sure you balance amount of damage dealt, amount of damage taken. Okay, so I feel like this game was a little short, and I feel like I want to showcase a little bit more of Alarak, so we're going to have a second game. So let's go. Okay, we are back. So we're in the 3rd position now. I think 3rd position actually offers Alarak a little bit of choice. In the sense that you could technically just go and push tier 2. But I'm not going to do that. So some commanders you could just push tier 2, especially in the 3rd position, because by the time your tier 2 research is done, you will possibly have a few seconds left, and you can put down some units. We're against the Rainer from last game, who was on our team, so this will be very interesting. So yeah, so I'm going to open with a similar opening here, just going to have Alarak. Alarak's just a really strong unit to open with. It's like any hero. And on top of that, because he's got the imposing presence, if it's a 1v1 against anything, he'll usually come out on top. So actually, I'm going to slam down some Slayers here. Slayers are essentially your bread and butter, I think. Unless you're playing on like weekly Brawl, where you can just do something stupid. Slayers is pretty bread and butter, I would say. I think you can win a game alone with just Slayers and Chicken Nuggets, or Supplicants, sorry. I like to call them Chicken Nuggets, so you're gonna hear him be called Chicken Nuggets for a little bit. So yeah. Ooh, it's Stukov. Oh, that's beautiful. Because as soon as you hit tier 2 against Stukov, your Destruction Wave just wipes him out. And also, the best part is, Alarak heals whenever he kills Stukov's many small units here. And he's playing Rainer again. Okay, so this will be very interesting. Because if anything, we'll be pushing into a Rainer probably. I do not have the Slayer phasing armor. Should have gotten that. Oops, that would have kept my Slayer alive for a little longer. I'm gonna put this over here. There we go. There we go. And Structure Overcharge actually has very high DPS. It's got a DPS of like 80. It's pretty good. Can I grab one of these? Okay. Oh, there we go. We got 2 nuggets out here just in time. And then I'm gonna try and upgrade the telekinesis right away. Like, I have a really bad habit of not upgrading telekinesis, but like the difference is huge. So this is the basic telekinesis. Once you upgrade it, oh wait, what? I swear to God, the tooltip. I guess it's just the tooltip issue. But yeah, there we go. Charge that thing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so basically, if Stukov continues to build bunkers against me, I can just slam him down with some Slayers. Now, one thing is Stukov Air is going to be a little bit tough to deal with. I think Motherships, if I ever get to that point in the game, would actually not be too bad. And I don't have a Havoc yet. Okay. Bombers, you're just going to bomb the medic here. I mean, I suppose that's going to work. It'll destroy the defense, right? It's going to be on fire. So, I'm going to put a Havoc down here. I think what we're going to look for is getting some Vanguards. But for now, I'm going to slam down some more Slayers, because Slayers are still very potent. Just very, all around, just a really good unit. But I will need to start buying Vanguards, basically, next wave. Like, I need to have one out for next wave, essentially. I swear to God, the tooltip should update. The destruction wave is supposed to look a lot bigger, but I guess not. Also, soul augmentation, I do not have that just quite yet. Oh! Alarak knocked that back just a little too late here. But yeah, I need a Vanguard. So with Alarak, I think if you can survive past like the first 10 minutes of the game and have like a decent-ish composition going on, the late game is essentially yours. It's really tough to lose the late game because if your front line is dying too quickly, you just keep slamming down some more chicken nuggets. Rain or air, I have to admit, is quite problematic for Alarak, I would say. The Banshees are really good against you. And I don't know, it's hard to soak all that DPS, I think. I haven't really found a really good answer to it besides like somehow skipping the part where you get to large amounts of Wrathwalkers. Oh, please. Oh, Dahaka did not eat my Vanguard. Oh, blessed. If Dahaka ate my Vanguard, that would just suck. I'm gonna get the Matter Dispersion. If you are against the good Dahaka, though, he should eat your Vanguards. There we go. We got the. All right, Alarak's getting that lifesteal. You can see just why he's so good against Stukov right now. Because every time Stukov has something die, Alarak is like, delicious. Give me that. Havoc is gonna be spotted here, so it's gonna be destroyed instantly. But if I can destroy Rainer's ground units, it should be fine. Slayer's gonna draw aggro. And I think what I'm going to do here, it is 5 minutes. I'm going to grab a gas, but our Han and Horner has 3 gas. You should really never do this in normal commanders. It's a little bit of a suicide mission. 2 gas at this point is okay. 3 is like, ooh, I don't know about that. But you know what? I play most of Weekly Brawl, and honestly, I've been playing Weekly Brawl for so long that I've kind of actually forgotten a little bit about the tempo of like regular commanders now. Now that I'm coming back to it, I'm like, ooh, hold on. Because I was going to make this Alarak guide like basically right after I made the Nova guide, for those of you guys who know. And then I looked at it and I was like, wait a minute, I am out of touch as hell. Because I played a few Alarak games on just to, like, you know, get some relevant research. And I was just like, wait a minute, that's terrible advice I was about to give. And then so I had to relearn it, I guess. And now that I'm here, I'm like, okay, I think I got it. So I'm gonna get another Vanguard. Get another nugget, and I think what we're gonna do here is, man, Han and Horner, what are you doing? I think Han and Horner is just having bombers to get rid of anything Rainer has on the ground, and I'm probably just gonna go into like a giant tech switch. So actually against Stukov, funnily enough, I think I could also go Ascendance. Stukov doesn't really, no, that's a lie. Stukov does have the APOC, and the APOC could be very lethal. Though I think if we ever need to get to it, Motherships, I think, just dominate Stukov in the air. Stukov has no real answer to it besides just lots and lots of Diamondbacks and praying. I'm gonna level up weapons once here, and oh, I could have gotten soul augmentation there. Oops, that's a little bit of a mistake here. There we go. Can we see that Banshee yet? There we go. Alarak staying alive for quite a bit of time here. Slayer's just gonna knock all those things out. See, the problem with Vanguards is they tend to walk forward a lot, and because they have no ability to blink backwards, you can't really save them for later too effectively. Holy, this guy's got the Bomber Squadron, but unfortunately, all they did was kill a bunch of medics. Yeah, I'd love to help out, but I'm not gonna try and fight Rainer in the skies. No way am I gonna try and do that. So I think what we do is we're just gonna try and complete the cycle here. Give Alarak some more chicken nuggets. So if you're noticing Alarak's going down a little too fast, and you don't like that, just add some more chicken nuggets to your lineup. And eventually at some point, either Alarak destroys the entire enemy front line, or your back line destroys the front line fast enough that, you know, keeps Alarak topped up. My Havoc's still alive over here. It's gonna be very useful, I think. Oh, my nuggets are getting focused down though, so that's kind of bad. Ooh. Alright. The Banshees are a little too tanky for us to, I don't want to go Destroyers, because Destroyers are a little bit weak against Liberators, the Infested Liberators. And Destroyers are not going to prioritize those things either. I'm going to have to overcharge this. Is that going to be enough? That's going to be enough just to save it. Okay. I think we're gonna gamble on this and go for tier 3. I think I need to move my chicken nuggets a little bit further back though. So this is, ugh. You know, I'll have to put these guys back here because they're entering the fight a little too quickly. Now, I'm trying to gamble on getting some Wrathwalkers, but this is a huge gamble, and I don't think I don't know if it's one that it should be taken. You can see here there's a Liberator here. He's preempting anything that flies. There we go. Oh. Yeah, my Slayers are just sort of barely holding the line here. Reapers are just coming in one at a time here. Just gonna be blasting up those Banshees here. Banshees are toast, but those Bombers have spent all their ammo. And what is it good for, boys? Okay, we're gonna try and hold this off here. Alarak does at least have an ability to help him hold structures a little bit better. Ooh, come on. Okay, barely. I'm gonna get you over here. Oh, please let me get rapid power cycling. Without rapid power cycling, Wrathwalkers are terrible. I also need them for aerial tracking. Ooh, yikes. So this first one here, I might as well just get aerial tracking on this first one because it's gonna have rapid. Oh, but I have Empower Me here. I'm gonna see if I can save this here, and then. Oh no, I didn't kill them. Oh, disappointment. I was hoping that the Empower Me was strong enough and I could just destroy all those Banshees, but still. Tier 3 Alarak, the Empower Me is blessed. You could obviously micro it to, like, you know, coordinate with a big push. It's kind of like, you want to think of Alarak's Empower Me almost like Karak's Laser. It's kind of funny, because Karak's Laser Beam has been nerfed into the ground now, but it kind of does function a bit like Karak's Laser in terms of like just how powerful you become. So yeah, so I think now here's the thing with Wrathwalkers, you don't actually need too many of them. It's probably better just to make sure your line stays alive, and my line here is Alarak, so that's about it. This bad boy here is now going to start attacking at a regular pace. By regular pace, I mean it's going to start attacking fast, which is exactly what I want. And I don't know if I want to Bloodshard Residence. No, I'm going to save up for another Wrathwalker. I'm going to get like 1 or 2 Wrathwalkers before we go for Bloodshard Resonance here. But yeah, you need the Wrathwalkers here, I think, to just deal with those Banshees. Come on. Yeah, the Wrathwalker's slowly whittling them down. But I'm going to need a few more because the Slayers are holding the line perfectly. And so is Alarak. He's got 93 kills. All of those probably just... We're just gonna structure overcharge here, preempt that here. I mean, it comes up pretty quickly as well. Oh, here we go. We got the Vikings. I can tell you guys this game is going to be a banger. Banger in the sense that it's going to be a tough one. Win or lose. Hopefully we're going to try and win, though. Oh, but the Haka's Creepers are going to be tough as hell to deal with. Look at all of those beautiful Ravasors that we are going to harvest. I think we're going to harvest them at least. Right? Alarak, you going to harvest them? Alarak's going to harvest them, right? I think he's harvesting them. There's one Liberator here. Oh, jeez. Alarak went down. I need a lot more chicken nuggets then. Oh, jeez. Yeah, the Wrathwalkers are a bit of a gamble. And I think right now the gamble is we need more nuggets. I think I can probably actually connect the nugget train now. Just gonna a little nugget train. Alarak is just gonna munch him, you know. It's really, I'm a little annoyed by Han and Horner here, but hopefully they've got a game plan. Those igniters, oof, rough. I'm gonna save up money. Let's see. That Vanguard's got 43 kills. Zagara's wave is gonna breach, and these units are not gonna be long for this world. I'm gonna drop a little scan, so maybe we can get rid of these things over here. Sometimes it is quite helpful to scan here. There we go. Alarak's gonna come in here. Boom. Those Banshees are focusing him down, but he's just gonna eat some chicken nuggets and say it's okay, boys. There we go. I mean, they finally got to him, but oh my god, I need another Havoc. I need another Havoc, and I need some more Wrathwalkers. The Wrathwalkers are my real sort of DPS against those Banshees. Ooh, but you can see the Rainer Vikings are just gonna be devastating, alongside more Banshees here, obviously. Banshees are just gonna fly right past us here and take a chunk out of the Zagara wave. Holy, okay. I'm gonna add some Slayers here to help out. And I think, I said I wanted to buy another Havoc. I did not buy one. I need to buy at least 2 more Havocs. So, if you guys are watching this, don't copy me in the amount of Havocs I have. It's a good idea to have a few more. I'm just skimping out on the Havocs because I'm like, I need more people. I need more guys on the field here. There we go. Oh god, Alarak's deep in there. Oh wait, he got taken out and there's still some nuggets over here. Ooh. See, bad nugget placement, boys. Bad nugget placement will cost you. Okay. I'm gonna level up some weapons here, actually. So bad nugget placement means these guys... I'm just gonna move them a little bit closer to the front. And then... let's get our Havoc over here, shall we? There we go. I'm gonna get our Havoc over here behind the Slayer as well, because my single Havoc being like right in the thick of the fight is getting knocked out like right away, and that's not great. But with 2 more, hopefully some of them will survive. It is 15 minutes, so I should probably grab gas. Our Han and Horner is gassing for the entire team essentially, which is I guess not too bad. I don't know. Eventually they'll scale, but I'm gonna go for the 3rd gas here. We've got some queens here. Brood Queen's no match here. Oh, he's got the symbiote. Okay. Boom! I think the Empower Me here is giving me so much attack damage. That's gonna be beautiful here. We're just gonna push right through. I'm gonna drop a scan here so we can see. But I think from now on, I'm just gonna be trying to grab as many Wrathwalkers as possible. So I think we've stabilized in terms of just like our position. We haven't lost the game. We haven't lost our bunker. And now is the time for Alarak enjoyment, boys. Oh! They just bombed that base, boys. Beauty. So Alarak enjoyment just involves buying so many Wrathwalkers your opponents literally fall over and die. So yeah, that's just a matter of time now, I think. I don't know. We still have to manage our front line. You gotta manage your front line. You can't not manage your front line. I'm gonna scan here for Zagara because Zagara apparently either doesn't have an overseer or it's getting taken out. The single Liberator here, a little unfortunate for it. It's never gonna touch my Wrathwalkers. I might need to get some blood shields. There we go. So yeah, blood shields will help your nuggets stay alive for longer. You can see how invincible Alarak becomes. And I spoke a little bit too soon, but it's okay, boys. Don't worry about it. This scan over here may have been bad, but you can see how Rainer Vikings are very powerful against us because they will attack our Wrathwalkers. One thing I could have done was not research aerial tracking, and that could be helpful in the sense that the Vikings will not automatically decide that the Wrathwalkers are a target to attack. But unfortunately, I already have them because I need them to deal with the Banshees, so yeah, it's going to be a little bit problematic. Now, I would love to get an Ascendant, but the Haka is a little unnerving for me. So yeah, let's see. Because Ascendant's pretty good into this. Oh, we got some Explodey boys coming out here. That could be bad. I'm gonna level up my weapons all the way here because I'm a madman. And holy Alarak is lifestealing. Oh, but he's not able to lifesteal enough. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, jeez. We're able to take out some of these units here. Han and Horner has nothing but galleons. This is a little bit questionable, boys. To say the least here. You should not overcharge that cannon, by the way, because that cannon does not have enough health to support it. Okay, we're barely holding. Oh, I think I just need more Slayers. Because Slayers are not going to get aggroed as easily as the Wrathwalkers. Vikings do have to land and deal with them. Oh, even Motherships I don't think are going to be good enough here against Raynor. Like, eventually Raynor will overcome those as well. So I think we just have to make sure Alarak is staying nice and healthy here. And upgrade my shields, because my chicken nuggets are mostly shields. Oh my god, Alarak, you can see here, he took a lot of hits there. Finally going down, but that's a yikes, boys. Because once these things start collapsing, I think it's going to collapse real hard on us. I simply do not have enough damage here. I think, you know what? Oh my god, we got some Sovereign BCs coming in here. The true answer, you have no flying AA. Well, the truth is, my destroyers suck versus AoE. I cannot find the UP apparently. These are my. This is my anti-air, boys. You really don't want to build destroyers into this matchup because there's a Raynor. Plus, Stukov's Liberators are still really good against you as well. So, just destroyers are usually not a great option here. I'm gonna drop a fat scan so we can see. Oh my god. There we go. Honestly, I think if Han and Horner switch to Deimos Vikings, we could be sitting pretty, I would say. But yeah, Wrathwalkers. Actually, yeah, I need some more small Slayers. I mean, small Wrathwalkers. Small Wrathwalkers or tall Slayers, you know. Yeah, okay, we're just gonna start piling on some Wrathwalkers here. That's our exit strategy. I'm pretty sure there's no real other way around this. Because Wrathwalkers are pretty fixed, so they'll take a lot of hits, and they don't really stack as hard against the Vikings as other air units will. And at the end of the day, it's 130 damage, you know? It's hard to negotiate 130 damage to the face, you know? 130 damage is 130 damage. So yeah, it's better not to build destroyers unless you are against someone who has no air AoE, which is like press X to doubt. Literally everybody has some form of air AoE, except for maybe Karax, but then again, destroyers are not the correct choice against Karax. You have a much better option, known as the Tal'darim Mothership. But look, oh, Empower Me is here. Alarak is empowered, and here we go. Ooh! I would have held that wave a little longer, actually. But it's looking like we got a huge overrun here. Empower Me is just gonna end the game, I think. The Vanguards are on the base. They don't care, boys. That's how it's done, boys. So, if you play Weekly Brawl, though, I think you can skip the part where you buy Slayers, depending on the Brawl. But Slayers definitely help out a lot. Alarak here, as you saw, is just gonna soak so much damage here. How much damage did we do? The most on the team, boys. Oh, beautiful. I didn't take the most damage, but if like Zagar wasn't here, and we took quite a lot of hits here. Your anti-air unit is really just the Wrathwalker. It's probably your best bet. Don't go buying destroyers. Destroyers have like maybe like a few niche options, but like basically none of these commanders are commanders you would want to build destroyers into. Destroyers almost never are a good choice, I think. But let's look at the units here in the kills. Ooh, that was beautiful. There we go, boys. So yeah, make sure you have a right balance between your chicken nuggets to feed Alarak. Keep him nice and topped up here. Vanguards, like just these two guys alone killed a lot of things. If you're up against a lot of ground bio, just make sure you slam like maybe 2 or 3 more. And or 4 more, I don't know. Maybe replace the number of Wrathwalkers I have here with Vanguards, and you should do just fine. But in the late game, you're just going to basically want to cover your entire board with Wrathwalkers. That is usually the smartest choice, because it's 130 damage, just honest damage, boys. Hits everything, decently tanky unit, and then they can also support units underneath them. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this guide, be sure to leave a like and be on the lookout for more Commander guides. If you guys are looking for something to watch, be sure to check out the videos that are about to be suggested to you. Until next time, I will see you guys later.
The tires! Let's light some fires!
Need a light. They picked the wrong fight.